everybody, hello, it's Thursday again. Oh my goodness, every day this week I have intended to do a video, and of course, as you know, every day I've failed, but today we are going to do a video, and I'm going to show you how I've made these two envelopes. As you may remember, I am doing one of these fancy disc-bound journals. I'm really enjoying doing it, and the more I add to it, the more I like it, to be honest with you. I've got some pages done. This is quite a nice one, I think, with the journaling card in there, inky background, everything I like really. Here we've got a pocket and a longer journaling card with some fabric in there. I don't know what else I've done since the last time you joined me. That I think we did on Sunday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did that on Sunday. Oh yes, I changed my bookmarks. You might remember, or not, doesn't matter really. I had a long snippet roll that was going horizontally. The other ones that I did were vertical. Can't even find them now. They're around somewhere, but they were vertical. But I had this that was horizontal, so I've changed my bookmarks into being made from the snippet roll. Just sprayed some ink, put some butterflies on. This is Keong's paper, isn't it gorgeous? That's to decorate as well. There's another bookmark. I've got a new die. It's this one here, and it cuts out this lovely mesh which I really like. So I cut that out, put some fired brick paint around it, butterfly label, there you go. No, that was the one we did on Sunday, I think. Well, we did one of them anyway. Some more of Keong's paper, more of Keong's paper, some Timmy card. This piece needs decorating. That's the last bit of my horizontal strip. Beautiful paper. And then I made this one. I wanted a blue one, but I didn't want to use the blue bird that came in the kit. I don't know why, it would have gone quite nicely really. So I decided that I would paint a blue tip all of my own, which I did, and then scanned in and printed out different sizes. So this was the snippet roll, yes, and there's the little card that I made with my blue tip and a flower on it and a label. So that's that. So it's coming along nicely, but it still needs loads more stuff in it yet. But I'm really liking the way it operates. I like the way you can open it and close it pretty effortlessly, actually. So that's pleasing me. The more stuff I get in it, the easier it seems to open and close. So today I thought we'd have a go at doing these envelopes. If you are a follower of artymaze, you will have seen that she did some envelopes the other day in a similar sort of style to this, and it jogged my memory because I've made these for just about every project I've ever made. These sort of inky decoupage envelopes. So that's the fronts and that's the back. And I was going to use, in fact I printed out some of the Beautiful Birds kit from artymaze. I printed it out on tissue paper. There we go. And I was going to use those for the decoupage, but actually they're just a little bit too dark. The background's too dark. So when I come to decoupage it to the envelope, you can see all that bit around them, which I didn't want to see. And of course, you can't digitally alter artymaze's images. They're hers. You can't just go and mess around with people's copyrights. So I decided to go with something different, and what I have gone with is the Tim Holtz collage paper, and this is the Avery one. So it's all birdies. So what do you get in a repeat? from there to there. That's what you get in one repeat. And they're all gorgeous, aren't they, really? So I've had this for quite a while. I can't remember why I needed it. But, you know, sometimes you just need things, don't you? It's not that you want them, you need them. So that's that. I mean, you get loads on a roll. I can't remember how much you get on a roll. 6 yards, 5.5 meters. I mean, it's, you know, there's so much. So let's have a look and see how I made them anyway. So I've taken an ordinary, very ordinary, may I say, envelope. This one's been too near the spray, but they're just these tip-top fine bond 40 self-seal envelopes. And they are C6 size, 162 mils by 114, but I'll tell you in old money what that is. It's nearly 6.5 by 4.5. That's the size of it. But you could use any envelopes, any at all. These are really cheap. I think Mr. F probably got them at a charity shop, actually. But I'm awash with envelopes, so I could have used any size, but this I thought would fit into my journal quite nicely if I had pockets, you know, for them. So that's the idea of that. Right, so first thing to do is, this is a self-seal one, so open it up because you don't want it sticking closed. That would just be awful. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little mat out, my little inky mat. And this is just, well, actually it's Vintage Photo re-inker and a little bit of Rusty Hinge re-inker. No, that's not right. This is coffee. It's a coffee solution with a little bit of Rusty Hinge re-inker mixed together. Now, it doesn't keep forever, so if you've made it, use it or lose it, basically. I've had this for about 3 days and it's doing all right so far. So all I'm going to do is spray my envelope with it. If you've got coffee stained envelopes to start with, that's fine, just use that. I haven't got any at the minute, so I'm just spraying these as I need them, really. So on both sides and at the top as well, because you'll see that probably, most probably anyway. You can use a brush to do this. You don't have to be savage and use your fingers. And it doesn't matter if it's all over or it's not all over or whatever. It'll be fine, whatever it is. There we are, and I'm just going to dry that off a little bit. So I'll pause you while I dry this, because I'm just drying an envelope. There's not much to it. Okay, so that's pretty dry now. It's not bone dry, but it's near enough. And if you want some, I mean, there are lighter and darker areas on here, which I do quite like. But if you want a bit more brown, I'm just using Vintage Photo. And I'm looking for this, yes. And just a little bit of Vintage Photo on your inky mat. I'm just going to dab that into it here and there. They're very absorbent, these cheap envelopes, but that's fine, that's all right. There we go, quite like that. So just give that a quick waft with a hot air tool, and then we'll move on to step 2. That'll be fine, I'm sure. So step 2 involves gesso, of course. So I know some of you have seen me make these envelopes a million times, so sorry about the duplication. So I'm just going to put my brush in there, get some out and put it on the lid, because I want very little really. It's more sort of dry brushing than anything. So I've got quite a bit on there, but it'll be all right. So going which way you fancy. Just a sort of, I mean that's too much really, but it doesn't matter. If you really don't want that much, spray some water on it and spread it around, but I think that's okay. And on the back. So these are nice and quick to make, but I think they make a bit of a statement in your journal actually. One of my favourite things to make. There we go. That's nice. So I'm just going to wrap this up till I can get to the sink to wash it off. Oh, thanks, Mister. Put the lid back on that. Honestly, this pot of golden primer, golden acrylic gesso, hello, has lasted me for years, I think. Right, let's just clean this off before it gets stuck on there. That's the joy of these mats. I see Timmy now has a big mat out, like the whole size of the media mat. I don't know that I'd ever use all that, you know, to be honest. Right, so the next thing to do is we're going to add some colour back into it. So I'm going to use my vintage photo, and I'm also going to use peeled paint because I like both of them. So I think I might use peeled paint first. I used vintage photo on the other one, but I'm going to use peeled paint first. So just dab that onto your inky mats, add a little bit of water. Mix it up and make it nice. There we go. You can always move it around. It's not really that dry, but it should be alright. So you can move this around with your finger. Or a brush. Or a brush, yes indeed. You don't have to be a savage. There we go. Yeah, I like that green. It's nice, isn't it? I love that colour, peeled paint. Possibly my favourite of the distress colours. Maybe. I have a lot. Depends what I'm working on at any given time. I need a bit more green there. So the other ones I did were more brown than green. This one, well, I like this side, it's lovely, isn't it? See if I can pick all of that up, then save it going to waste. Lovely, that's nice. I don't think I'm going to put the vintage photo on over the top. I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm going to dry that off. Well, I'm going to rinse this off. So the next time I come to use it, it's not covered in green. There we go. So let's just dry this off. I will ask Mr. F to pause you again there, just while I give this a darn good drying. There we go. So I think that one is dry. What I tend to do is open that up and put the heater in there, and then you get both sides for the price of one. So that's pretty much done, but I'll just leave that a second because I have one that I did in preparation. Yes. You can see I've used the vintage photo mostly, but it does have little bits of peeled paint in it, which I like. So that piece of the collage paper that I showed you, the one repeat of it, I've torn all of the birds out of there. So we've got quite a selection really. It's amazing how many you get. I saved those as well because I like those. There's that one, this nice yellow one, and that one. So yeah, I mean, we've got plenty. I also, today, I have received happy mail from America, yay! From Florida to be exact, and from our very, very, very lovely Jania, who sent me a sample pack of what she sells in her shop. And there'll be a picture later on the group, but it was all wrapped up in tissue paper. And normally I get excited when I see tissue paper because I know it's going to be with me forever because I never throw it away. But this one, this is what it was wrapped in. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? And when I show you a sheet, this is one of the background pieces from the kit I'm using, the Beautiful Birds by Artymaze. I mean, come on. I ask you, could you get a better match? So, no is the answer to that one. So, I have torn out some of those leaves from there. So I've got a nice selection of those as well. So there we go. I've got those and I've got these. Now, to adhere one thing to the other, I am going to use matte medium. I just happened to grab this one out of the drawer. It happens to be Winsor & Newton. But the two that I favour, probably Winsor & Newton and Liquitex Professional, because they dry matte. They dry properly matte. A lot of the matte mediums dry with a sheen, which I don't like really. So I'm going to put some of this out on my board. I think the nozzle might be a bit close. It's a bit like milking a cow, this. Oh dear, anyway, that's fine. I'll close that up. Do you want to close up? Oh, other way. Do that, and I'll just clean that nozzle a little bit because it's obviously blocked with something. There we go. Ah, right, okay. So now to select what we're going to put on there. Well, I kind of like these two birds actually. I think they look gorgeous on there. There is writing in the background and I am going to have to respect it because you can't really see it, but you can, if you know what I mean. So the writing goes that way. So I want that to be straight on the envelope. So I might go for that there, I think. So I'll get my brush out. And for this, for Tim's collage paper and for tissue papers such as these that you get from Zazzle or somewhere, you can't do what I normally do, which is just put them down, put glue on the top. It doesn't work. The glue doesn't penetrate. So you have to put your matte medium down first where your piece is going to go. So just put it down wherever you think. As I say, it dries matte, so you'll be all right if you go over the area. And let me just fold that top in there so I can see where I'm going. So about there, I'd say, and then bring this down to the right place. Yeah, I think that's about it. And the one thing about this type of tissue paper is it's not so keen to crinkle, you know, to wrinkle up on you. It's got more substance to it. So it's pluses and minuses, as with everything. So I'm just putting another coat over the top of the matte medium like that. There we go. And it doesn't matter, it's hanging off the bottom. We'll soon trim that up. So I've got a bit of a space going on over here. So I could put another bird in there if I wanted. I've got this one that's kind of on that side, but I think that's altogether too much birdage. So I'm going to add some of these little leaves. And it doesn't have to be a pattern to it at all, just whatever takes your fancy. There's a very small one, that'll do me nicely. Just add that there. There we go. That's lovely. So just leave that to dry for a second before we turn it over and do the back. Otherwise the whole thing will stick to my board. So leave that and I'll come back to this one, which is dry now. That's lovely. And I very much like this. It's just gorgeous. So I could put it there or I could put it there. But that's too central. That doesn't sit well with my eye, the fact that it's right in the middle. Just fold that over. So I like it over to that side better. Now I would also like, if I possibly can, to include this bit, which was also in the collage paper. So I could put that there, put that there. I think that looks nice. Yeah, I like that. So let's stick this bit down first. I love doing this. I really, really love doing this. So that's on, and you know, it just blends into the background seamlessly. So I want that about there. I might have to put some more that medium out, I think. So I'm just going to add that there. Lovely. It's always a good idea, even with this kind of decoupage, to go from the centre out, and then you don't trap any air in the middle. So always from the centre out. So there we are. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Oh, it looks gorgeous. I love it. Excuse me. And maybe one little leaf down here, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. And pop that down there. Lovely. That looks really nice. I like that. Okay, so I want these to dry now so I can trim off the excess and I can turn them over. I'm going to have to dry them with the heat gun, so sorry guys. Okay, so well, this one's definitely dry. The other one could do with another second or two, but I'm just going to trim the excess off without trimming the envelope, because then you'll have a hole in your envelope, which is not what you want. Trim that one close enough. That's running scared. Right, lovely, that's great. And this one, how dry are you? Oh, it's pretty dry. So just get this excess off there as well. Then we can do a bit of something on the back. There we go. I'll start on this one because it's actually the drier of the two. Looks nice though, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So what have I got left? I've got this one, and this one. I've also got one of those, but I think that looks better on the front. Yeah, I think so. And I've got my lovely Jania leaves. So I think I will put this one here. Come in from this side. So let's put some more medium out. Come on. I think I've blocked it completely now. Oh. I remember now why I jettisoned this bottle. Need to get some air in it, I think. Let's try that now. Could you pass me that other bottle of... Thanks. Yeah. See, this is a bit runnier, a bit more accessible. So I'm going to pop that down there. So put my matte medium on. Place this where I want it. I just want it coming in from the edge, but bearing in mind that it's got text on it, so I want that to be fairly straight. So from the centre out, like that. Lovely. That's really nice. And then we'll put some leaves around the place. This tissue, I couldn't believe this tissue paper when I saw it. I mean, I'm really excited about all the other things, don't get me wrong, but I was so excited about the tissue paper. So I'm just going to put a couple of little bits up on the flap part. At the top here, maybe this little fella. Let's put that there. There we go. So when that dries, there'll be a couple of bits that just need trimming off. There's a bit there. That will be about it, I think. But it's looking nice. It's progressing nicely. So yeah, I like that. So on the back here, we've got this one. And this one. I think I'll put this one on. I could put both, but I think that might be just over-egging the pie. So just like that, I think. I've done this a lot of times using napkins that have got flowers on, and use the flowers, which also looks nice. I'm going to put this bigger piece down here somewhere there, I think. There we go. This cat can come to the back window. He's been out and about. He had a good snooze this morning in his upstairs bed. I would hate to get the idea that he's a spoiled cat in any way, but he is. He's really spoiled. But you know, you don't get them not to spoil them, do you? There we go. Right. So let's pretty much say that's done, actually. So I'm going to give those a really good dry. I'm going to put my remainder of my matte medium back in my bottle. Waste not, want not. This is a bit harder to pick up because it's really quite liquidy, but get it back in there like that. And then I'll pause you and give these a darn good drying. Okay, cookie, they're dry now, and don't they look nice? They look gorgeous. When you fold that in, they look really pretty, I think. Like that. That's our fronts there. I like that on there, it's nice. So what I want to do now is add a stamp, a proper honest to goodness stamp, one of these, and some stamping. Yeah, it's slightly confusing. So I've got a green stamp. Of all the stamps I've got, this was the only green one we could come up with, but it's fine. I'll put brown on the other one. So I'm just going to put that there. Now this one, it's got this malarkey up at the top. I'm just cutting round it to give it an even border, that's all. A little bit there, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go around those with a bit of ink, bit of vintage photo. Just a little bit, take the whiteness off that. And the other one. Lovely. And stick those in place. I do hope that some of you at least give this disc bound thing a go, because I tell you, I am getting more impressed with it as we go on. And I'm thinking it would be the perfect way of doing a little golden book, which you never know, I might do one day soon. I'll be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? I haven't done one of those for a couple of years, a good couple of years I'd say. There we go, that looks nice on there. And then this one. I'll pop that down there a bit. Yeah, lovely. Right, and then I've got a stamp that looks kind of like franking lines. So I'm just, it's also got something that looks like a stamp in the middle of it. So I don't want to use that part. So I just want the, I'm sure I've got a stamp somewhere that is just the franking lines, but I can't find it. So that's, I just want to do the lines, make sure I haven't got anything there. I'm just gonna try that there. Yeah, that's all right. There is a bit spilling over there, but that's okay. It's all right. And do the same again. And on this one, I'm just going to hold a piece of paper, if I have one, a piece of card here, over the bit that I don't want to stamp. And put that there. Yeah, that's fine. That'll do me. It looks like I made an attempt. It's okay. Right. So now I want to move on to some stamping, and I just want to use this, the little text. It's the one that comes with the Tiny Toadstools Stampers Anonymous set, and it's just very little illegible text, but it's the right scale for this sort of project. So let's do this envelope first. So just maybe a little bit up there. And I'm doing it in a VersaFine Clair colour called Shady Lane. Just little bits here and there. That's fine. It's enough. I'll move on to this one. Just little bits, there's no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting them, just little bits that please my eye. And then we can do the back and the top of the envelope. So this has got more empty space, so possibly needs a bit more stamping. You know, you can do this or not do it, it's up to you really. I think that's fine. And then I just want some on the top part. Like that. That looks nice. So onto the back of this one. Lovely, and just a little bit on this. That's fine. Oh, nearly put the wrong lid on the wrong thing. There we go. Right. So that's them pretty much finished. You can, if you want, wait till they're really dry and iron them, press them, but make sure that you've got some baking parchment or something between the iron and this. Otherwise you'll melt the glue, it'll all stick to your iron and you'll be very sorry that you did it. Frankly myself, I like them when they are a bit wrinkly. I love that sound, just love it. So here's my original two. Here's the two we've just made. And what I'm thinking of doing is just putting them in pairs in my journal into a pocket, but I need something to put in them and I also need to make the pockets, so that will be what the next one is. So I hope you like them, I hope you have a go. It doesn't have to be birds, of course it doesn't. As I say, I've made loads historically in just flowers on the envelopes, but I really like these. I love the background. I know when I started with a gesso, some of you going, oh, gesso, here she goes again. But you can see now why I've used it. You get this lovely mottled background, which I think suits the birds really rather well. So there we go, guys. That's it for today. I will see you very soon when we'll be doing the pockets and the inserts. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.